Okay, exactly. Solving quadratic equations. Can I get a brave soul? Who do you stop at, by the way? I think Jake, I think we're back to you, I think is where we're at. Can Jake or anyone else guess what a quadratic trig equation will have in it? It could be a quadratic. Okay, so this will have, what's the rest? Okay, so we're going to say any trig equation with sine squared theta, cos squared theta, or tan squared theta as its highest power. Is called a quadratic trig equation. The example is something like something like what I just wrote on the board there is an example of an equation you have to solve. Okay, we won't actually solve it when we get, it'll be close to it, but not exactly. Okay, so it is a quadratic. Can anyone guess how we would solve a quadratic? Devin? 0. Very good. Okay, so we're going to say to solve these, make one side equal to 0 and factor. And actually, you guys have really been excellent at this compared to most of my classes historically. But remember, whenever there's a quadratic, it has to equal 0. It's the first test of the year now with you guys with most classes. It drives me bonkers because half the class doesn't. Okay, right? So for these ones, for this question we were solving, what would I do then? If I were solving this question, do the first step. The 3 would be going on the other side. I'm going to do one like this on the board right now and try it out. One thing I should know before we start. Some equations will have no solutions. The example is, let's say I get sine of theta equals 2. Will that have an answer? Why not? Because I said so. And this is the grade 12s also didn't know this, so I'm going to help out. The reason this doesn't have an answer, I changed that to a fraction of 2 over 1. What is sine theta the same as? Opposite over hypotenuse. Is it possible to have a triangle with an opposite of 2 and a hypotenuse of 1? No, that hypotenuse is the biggest side. Because of that, what's my domain for theta? What does theta always have to be for sine and cos? Sorry, what does the answer be between for sine and cos? Yeah, so what we're going to say is sine theta has to be less than or equal to 1. 1 will work. Is there a minimum value? Can -8 work? What's the minimum value going to be? Right. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's just take 1 second. I'm going to graph quickly, so I apologize for this. Here's my graph of sine theta. Right? There's your graph of sine theta, right? So the only answers that make sense here are from -1 to 1. Now again, if you, and that's for cos as well too, if you get an answer outside of that, that's fine. Which means if you get a root outside of that, that's okay. It's just that there's no answer, right? And that's fine. It's like if you get a trying to do like the quadratic form of a negative inside this, right? That's fine. Probably. That makes sense what I just said on that right board. Yes. I'm not saying it's school thing, don't worry, you will get home. You'll be fine, you'll get home. There we go, example 1. Says solve 0 degrees is less than or equal to theta is less than or equal to 360. 2 sine squared theta plus sine theta minus 1 equals 0. Okay, I'll set you guys up with this right now. What does that sort of look like if you squint? It looks a lot like a quadratic. Harry, I'm going to make it look exactly like a quadratic right now. You do not need to do this step. This is an optional step. But I'm going to say let x equals sine theta. Why is that useful to me? Jake, what's that going to change my equation into? Yeah, can you tell me exactly what it's going to be? Go ahead. Yeah. X squared, I hope you said plus x. I think you said plus x squared, but right, because sine is just x, so sine squared is x squared. Okay, now everyone in the class can factor this. I know this because you just did it on your warm-up, right? Morgan, how do I factor 2x squared plus x minus 1 equals 0? Yeah. So I'm going to multiply -2, and I'm going to move to the next slide. I'm going to add to get 1. William, what are 2 numbers, please, that multiply to -2 and add to 1 negative? Multiply -2 and add to 1. Close. I don't know why, but this is always the hardest. Those are always the most difficult. I don't want it for everybody, because I don't know the plus and minus. Well, for the 2 and I don't know for every class we're taught the 2s and the 1s like the plus and minus. There we go. Okay, what are we doing now, please? Yep. Harry, factoring time. Go ahead.
Oh, 2x, x plus 1.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you have a faster way to factor this, and you can do it in your head quicker, go ahead. Lovely. I'm feeling good with this question. Sabrina, what do I do now? Yeah. So on the left-hand side, I'll say x equals 1/2. And on the right-hand side, I'll say x equals -1. Lovely. I'm done, right? Not even close. Okay. All this sort of did for me was give me like an intermediate step. Arden, what should I do now, please? Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to say, I'm going to say but x equals sine theta. So what we've really actually just solved is sine theta equals 1/2 or sine theta equals -1. So again, if you choose to factor without this substitution, that's fine. If you can factor this, which is sine squared to cos squared, go ahead. For most people, though, they're unable to. All right, Maddie, how do I solve for theta on the left, please? Yeah, good. So this is going to be sine inverse 1/2. I can't do that in my head. Oh, wait, I can. Why can't I do this in my head? That's a triangle, right? So that's my grade 3. If you can't, that's okay. Until I get to grade 12, but that's fine for now. All right, cool. Am I done with the left-hand side? Okay, the answer is no, I'm certainly, definitely not. Since I did sine inverse, what is my second angle going to be, Lucy?
That's for sine equals
No, left-hand side.
Oh,
Since I did sine inverse, my first angle is 30. What's my second angle going to be?
okay. Is it like 189 or something?
Yeah, 180 minus. Okay, so for this one, so it's going to be or theta is 180 minus 30. Theta is 150 degrees. Again, that's cast. If you need to see the cast thing, right, we have an answer of 1/2, which is positive, so it's going to be in this quadrant, this quadrant. If you need the cast thing for yourself. Okay, so that is the left-hand side. Things are looking good, but not yet great. Okay, we're still up. All's good? Okay, good. Joe, how do I do the right-hand side, please? Very good. So we're going to say theta, I'll do this in a different color on theta equals sine inverse of -1. Joe, what does that equal to, please? Theta what? -90. All right. Joe? I like you, but I'm putting an X beside this answer. Why is there an X beside that answer? It is, yes, not in the domain. Okay, how does somebody else here? Caitlin, how do I make that number a positive? Thank you, Caitlin. You just talk the whole class, you never notice it's doing the math always. Okay, so what Jared said is correct. Just going to add the period. So again, if you think of this, it's going to be 270 degrees. Back to our cast rule, does that make sense for an answer? Where's -1 going to be on my cast rule? Where's -1 going to be? Yeah, actually, technically, it's going to be right here at the bottom. That's -90. -90 degrees is going to be 270. 90, 180, 270. It's going to be right between the C and the T. For that. What's my other angle going to be? Here, go ahead.
180 minus.
Very good. Yeah, which is the same thing. So in this case, there's only one answer. Okay, and the reason there's only one answer, if you take a look, -1 goes directly down, right? So there's only going to be one solution. Okay, there's a lot of math here. Okay, there's a lot of math. Lots of examples today. I want to make sure you guys get this down. As mentioned, our test is coming up next week on this, so we're going to do one more lesson more than that's it for the unit. Okay, so this is just a quick little unit. Yes. I'm glad you asked. So it's going to be on example 3. I mean, if you guys want to try yourselves, I like you're looking forward though, Amy. That's good. Okay, I'm going to stop that.